So you bought your Nikon ZF, and like me, you're very disappointed with the lens offering from Nikon. Now, they have some amazing glass. All of the Z lenses, the S-line glass, is amazing, except it just does not fit and does not fit the aesthetic, and it's all a bit too big for the Nikon ZF body. Now, while these lenses are amazing and they go fantastically on the the Z6, the Z7, Z8, Z9, etc., the retro aesthetic and the smaller size body of the ZF really just does not lend itself to some of these lenses. So what are your options? Guys, today, with the help of quite, I would say, an expensive piece of kit, being this new Megadap Series 2 from Megadap adapter. It allows you to use all of the Sony E-mount lenses on the Nikon Z system, whether it be the Z6, Z7, etc. But for the ZF, it lets you mount a lot of the Sony smaller lenses. Like right here, I have the 55mm 1.8 Zeiss, beautiful compact lens. And when you compare this to the 50mm offering from Nikon, the 1.8S lens, which is so much bigger and thicker than this, something like this, with a bit of character, a Sonar design lens, fits perfectly on this body, goes with the retro aesthetic, and just makes it a little bit smaller and a little bit better looking, in my opinion. The other lens I have, which is filming me right now, is Sony's 40mm 2.5 G lens. Now, they did bring out a whole series of these, and all three of them are absolutely perfect to fit on the ZF. Obviously, we have the 24mm, the 40mm, and the 50mm, all being 2.5 or 2.8 for those three lenses, but they just pair beautifully. They have aperture collars, which I don't know why Nikon hasn't brought out any lenses with aperture collars to fit the ZF and the ZFC for that matter. But these Sony lenses have aperture collars. They are right at home. Now, your big questions are going to be, okay, lens quality is obviously going to be fantastic from Sony G lens. We don't have to worry about that. The ZF is only a 24 megapixel sensor, so a lot of those newer lenses from Sony are going to out-resolve the sensor anyway. But what we want to know about is autofocus and autofocus performance, aperture control, how seamless it works. Well, let's go and do some testing and see how well these lenses perform on the ZF body. So taking a bit of a closer look here at the adapter, guys, you can see it is, it is very well made. It's solid metal with the CPU contacts on both sides, obviously to receive from the camera and then from the lens. Very tough, very well made, and very thin. You can actually see, look at the profile of it. It is quite a thin adapter, so it really doesn't take up much space, which is why the Nikon Z system is great, because the flange distance for the Z bodies is so much smaller. You can more or less adapt any lens from any camera, I'm fairly certain. But anyway, let's pop this on and have a quick look together at sort of how this goes. So obviously real simple to pop on. You just match up the red dots like you would any other lens. Adapter clicks on like that, and now we're going to mount this perfect pairing, which is the 40mm 2.5 lens. I think this is absolute perfect. Now I'm going to pop the lens hood off so you can see how small this is, but I do have the third-party hood. Now look at that. This lens is even better than the 40mm, I think, that comes with the Nikon ZF. Sure, you're losing half a stop or almost a third of a stop of light between 2.5 and f2, but we have this beautiful aperture ring that can be clicked or declicked on these lenses here. It's just such a nice pairing with the ZF body, and then when you throw something like this beautiful square hood on, I don't think you get a better pairing than this. Oh, pardon me, guys, trying to do this upside down. It's an amazing pairing, I think. And then when you know that you've got the 24mm and a 50mm of the same size, same compact nature, it's a really, really great affordable compact kit that you can put together that Nikon simply does not offer you for the ZF. So just before we continue, guys, I do want to mention that this is the second version of Megadap's adapter. Now, I did read that the first version, which also comes with a dock for USB so you can do firmware updates. That way, some people had a lot of problems connecting that to the computer, or that was a bit odd. So they brought out this second version, which can be done, firmware updates can be done via the camera, so you don't actually need to connect it to the computer. Also to mention, there is another company that does something very similar, the company TechArt. Now, they do an adapter for Sony E to Nikon Z, and I did actually try that adapter first a couple months ago, and I couldn't get it to work. Total garbage, couldn't even get the thing to connect to the computer to do any firmware updates. I personally do not recommend the TechArt one, and from everything I've read, Megadapt seems to be the gold standard as far as, you know, autofocusing adapters goes, especially for Sony E ecosystem to Nikon. Seems to be the go. So if this is the one you want, spend the extra money compared to the TechArt and go with the Megadapt adapter. So as we can see, guys, here we have the 55 Zeiss Sonar mounted via the Megadapt adapter on the Nikon ZF. So I'll set this up on a tripod now, and what I'm actually going to do is film me with the camera tracking myself. I'm going to see how good these, or how seamless actually, the continuous autofocus and the AF is while tracking in video, because if it works in video, it'll work perfectly for stills. Okay, let's see, people, what do we got? So I've got the autofocus with subject tracking on, and let's see how seamless it works. You know what I mean? Hey, this Zeiss lens has got pretty bad focus breathing, but to be honest, I really don't think you can ask for much more than that. Can you? Really? Let's try it again. It took a second, but this is an older lens. Let's try it again. That's all right. Now, let's put the 40mm 2.5G lens on the ZF. That's a much newer lens. And let's see what the autofocus performance is with that, which is Sony's modern generation of lenses. Okay, let's see how much better the tracking is with this 40mm 2.5 lens, which is a much newer lens. Still pretty good, not bad. Hey, pretty good, mate. And you can hear the lawnmower in the background of them mowing the soccer pitch behind my house. But not bad, not bad. I mean, as far as video goes, it's pretty snappy. As far as photo goes, I've got absolutely zero complaints with the camera autofocusing, locking on, things of that nature. I think this Sony lenses, obviously, we all know Sony has the best autofocus, so the lenses are very good speedy motors in them. Nikon ZF does have great AF as well, but this pairing together is pretty fantastic. I'm not disappointed at all. Even though this adapter, like I said, is quite expensive, it's going to run you about 450 Australian dollars brand new. I think it's worth it if you really want to get a massive, small, compact, or a very small, compact set of lenses for the ZF or for any Nikon body in general. Sony have got such a huge, extensive collection of lenses, and some of them, are pretty cheap compared to the Nikon Z stuff. I mean, and I'm talking about getting secondhand, 70 to 200 2.8s and things like that. Huge amount, and definitely a lot more offerings on the secondhand market as well, if that's a route you want to go. So this pairing here, guys, is the sort of lens that the Nikon ZF should have. It should have a small compact lens that also has an aperture collar just to go with the retro aesthetic. These Sony lenses, the G series 2.5 lenses, the 24, the 40 and the 50 are the most perfect pairing for this camera I think you can get. Also the Zeiss 55 I have, which is one of my all-time favorite lenses. I just love the rendering of a classic Zeiss Sonar lens. Not as sharp, but a beautiful amount of character on that lens. Perfect for black and white photos. That lens as well, they just seamlessly go together on the ZF via this Megadapt adapter. I can't recommend it enough. I know you might be thinking that $450 is a big pill to swallow for an adapter, and yes, I thought the same as well. Luckily for me, I did find one secondhand at $100 off for $350. Right now, we're going through the Black Friday sale, so with a bit of luck, you can jump on Megadapt's website or one of the affiliate links and potentially get yourself a discount, hopefully. But I just think that if you really are serious about the ZF and you want that retro aesthetic to go with it with some really high quality lenses, yes, there are also lenses from companies such as Ultralab out of Hong Kong that are making lenses, that look like the Nikon AIS lenses from the 80s and the 60s with aperture collars, but with autofocus and sharpness and all the modern stuff, you just know that if you're buying a Sony lens, you really are getting exceptional quality. And if you want to, invest in an ecosystem of 2, 3, 4, 5 lenses as well to really mix up your kit, maybe you want, your super wide, your 24 all the way up to an 85 or something. Sony have some great compact lenses that I feel like just sit better on this body compared to what Nikon are offering at the moment. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy shooting, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.